ABC 10 News at 4 starts now.
Aztec football making a comeback. Mountain West Conference teams are getting ready to hit the field, but this season will look much different. A man is arrested for providing the fentanyl in an overdose aboard a charter fishing boat, his connection to the crew. Plus, the search for answers into what happened seconds before the violent plane crash in Kearney Mesa. But first, the Aztecs and Mountain West Conference teams are returning to the field next month. Good afternoon, I'm Kimberly Hunt. And the conference had initially postponed the season due to the pandemic. ABC 10 News reporter Jennifer De La Cruz explains what led to the change in course.
San Diego State football is back. But it won't look like a regular season thanks to COVID-19. The Mountain West Conference announcing the season will start October 24th after initially postponing play indefinitely. In a press conference Friday, Aztecs head coach Brady Hoke says they're reversing course after seeing other conferences like the ACC making it work.
When you look at what we're doing and trying to move forward, I just know how positive it is for our players.
The team will play an 8-game season with home games at the Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson as their new stadium gets built. Players and coaches will wear masks and social distance and will also be tested for coronavirus 3 times a week. The Aztecs return to practice Friday with limited contact under local health guidelines.
We are throwing the ball. We are doing some things 7-on-7. There's some no contact and all of those kind of things that we are being very aware of.
Coach Hoke says they haven't chosen a starting quarterback yet and have a lot of work to do to make up for lost time. Although the Mountain West has given teams the green light, the Aztecs are still waiting on specific guidance from the state and county on moving forward.
In the back of your mind, you're always thinking, what's best for the guys? What's best for these kids to be able to go play? We're all trying to do what we can do to help stop the pandemic.
The Mountain West Conference schedule is expected to be released next week. Jennifer De La Cruz, ABC 10 News.
And it appears President Trump plans to announce federal appellate judge Amy Coney Barrett as Supreme Court nominee tomorrow. That is according to sources familiar with the process. Barrett was a finalist for the seat, which is now held by Justice Brett Kavanaugh. She is a Notre Dame professor and a former clerk for the late Justice Antonin Scalia. President Trump's announcement is expected tomorrow from the White House at 2 o'clock Pacific time.
Today, the late Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg was the first woman in American history to lie in state at the U.S. Capitol. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi opened the private service.
It is with profound sorrow and deep sympathy to the Ginsburg family that I have the high honor to welcome Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg to lie in state in the Capitol of the United States. She does so on a catafalque built for Abraham Lincoln. May she rest in peace.
Today's ceremony began as a celebration and honoring of Ginsburg's life and work with musical selections from one of her favorite opera singers. She will be buried next week in Arlington National Cemetery. In Louisville today, Brianna Taylor's family responded to a grand jury's decision to not charge the officers involved in her death. Taylor's family says they're not giving up their fight for justice.
And I'm angry because this nation is learning that our black women dying at the hands of police officers, and this is not okay. I hope you never know the pain of your child being murdered 191 days in a row.
Taylor's family is calling on transcripts of the grand jury proceeding to be released. Their attorney says they want to know if anyone was giving a voice to Brianna Taylor.
Just into the newsroom, a passenger is accused of supplying the fentanyl that police say could have killed 4 crew members on a charter fishing boat at Fisherman's Landing. Harbor police arrested 64-year-old Rick Appel after men overdosed yesterday. They say he was a passenger on the ship's next fishing trip. The crew members were found unconscious and given Narcan. They are said to be okay today. Appel is charged with 4 counts of transporting and selling a controlled substance and 4 counts of inflicting great bodily injury. Fire came dangerously close to homes in a canyon off of the 8 just north of SDSU. 2. Firefighters say that it was sparked by homeless just after 11 o'clock this morning. It grew to about a half acre. 2 helicopters made airdrops to help knock it down. It took another hour then to mop it up. Fire trucks shut down 2 westbound lanes of I-8. No buildings were affected. And our fire conditions are about to get worse. Meteorologist Angelica Campos tracking these new details live from home on this Friday afternoon. Angelica.
Hi, Kim, and they were able to tackle that fire very quickly. But when we go into fire weather conditions, any fire could spread very quickly, making it incredibly dangerous. And that is where we're headed for the weekend. Tomorrow should be a great start to the weekend, comfortable, but it is Sunday when we'll start to see conditions changing. So for now, we'll enjoy a bit of a cool down, but this is what's coming our way. A fire weather watch will go into effect late Sunday into Monday. It includes pretty much the entire county with the exception of coastal communities. We're expecting temperatures to start heating up. Humidity will drop between 10 to 15%, making it so dangerous. And our fire weather watch again bringing some gusty winds as Santa Ana winds return to the county. Those easterly winds could range from 15 to up to 40 miles per hour. So we'll have to be very cautious. Elevated fire danger is expected to begin on Sunday, but it could stick around for most of next week. We'll have more on the cool down for tomorrow in your 7-day forecast.
And we'll see you then. Investigators still don't know what caused an SUV to go off the 54 into Sweetwater River, killing the driver. It happened this morning about 5:30. The car was upside down and halfway submerged when crews arrived. The driver is a 69-year-old man from Chula Vista, and officials say he was the only person inside the vehicle. Wreckage from a single-engine plane crash in Kearney Mesa was still sitting on the pavement this afternoon, but we still don't know what brought it down with 2 men on board. ABC 10 News anchor Lindsay Pena has more information about the survivors and how they're doing today.
Looking at the wreckage, it's hard to believe anyone walked away from this crash. But both men on board were alert and talking, according to first responders who arrived on scene shortly after the plane went down around 4:30 Thursday.
They had originally just started to take off and they had some sort of problem. We don't know what that is. And so they basically tried to turn around to catch the airport to do an emergency landing.
But instead of making it back to Montgomery Field, they crashed behind this building owned by Kyocera on Balboa Avenue and Highway 163. Although we still don't know the name of the pilot, ABC 10 News did speak to the passenger and former military pilot Chris Stoddard, seen here in photos on his campaign website. He ran unsuccessfully this year for the 53rd congressional seat. Although he said he couldn't speak on camera under the advice of his lawyer, he did tell us by phone that he had a few cuts and bruises and a broken nose. He also said that the pilot was still in the hospital but is expected to be okay. According to FAA records, the plane is registered to Associated Aircraft LLC, but ABC 10 News was unable to reach anyone for comment. The National Transportation Safety Board is now investigating exactly what caused the plane to go down. Lindsay Pena, ABC 10 News.
A mutation of the coronavirus may allow it to spread more easily. This is from a new study currently going through peer review. The collaborative report was put together by scientists in Houston. One of the co-authors tells us this particular mutation is important because it shows how the virus is changing in response to our immune systems. And this mutation has swept the globe, now 100% prevalent in the UK and US.
We're not the first to see this, but it's just shocking that such a point mutation has this one mutation has completely spread through the world very, very rapidly over the course of a few months.
All right, so all viruses mutate, so it's expected. The good news about this mutation is that it has not made COVID-19 more deadly, just more easily transmitted. Plus, compared to other viruses like the common cold or the flu, the coronavirus changes more slowly, which is also good news for potential treatments.
There's hope that the first generation vaccines that are already in production and the antibody therapeutics that are going to be coming out soon are going to be very effective against the strains of virus we are seeing now. But we must continue to be vigilant, and studies like this one allow us to stay ahead of the virus by seeing how it's adapting.
The co-authors have noticed some other mutations in the virus that they're keeping an eye on. More tests are needed to find out if those are becoming fixed or if they're just blips on the radar.